The enemy has arrived in the great city of Surreal. We are gathering our forces in the centre of the city outside the cathedral. Here you can see the different units of infantry along with the cavalry and the archers. Now we're formed up, we're ready to head out. My unit is the first one to leave to head towards the enemy that is outside the main gates. We make our way through the main streets of Surreal, heading towards the enemy, which have just captured the sea flag. The rest of our forces are following closely behind as we approach the gates. Quickly we can see the enemy forming up at the top of a hill. They will have the advantage here of the high ground and the choke point. We have to break through with the rest of our forces. Enemy archers are already firing down to us as we quickly form the shield wall and begin to return fire. The different enemy clans and infantry begin to form their own shield wall at the top of the hill. There's no other way around, so we have no choice but to break through somehow. Most of our forces have formed up and are ready to engage. It won't be long before the order to charge is given. All the pieces are in place, the men grip their shields. The order, advance. For Bretonnia. They are pushing on the left flank. We reinforce the right flank. I join the fight with my men in the centre. I'm taken down as both battle lines are dispersed. The enemy still has the high ground, but the battle has turned into 1v1s all over. The right flank is barely holding as our cavalry fly through the spread ranks of the enemy. The right flank is literally being pushed off the side of the cliff. The numbers are still even for both sides as the battle rages on. We still have a majority of our archers that are being protected by infantry. Our cavalry are doing a good job at distracting the enemy at the rear. One of our units has broken through on the left flank and is storming up the hill. As the fight moves up the hill, our archers and spare infantry come in to join the rest of the fight. The enemy is trying to regroup on the flag to hold the objective, but we have enough archers and infantry left to harass them, and they slowly are whittled down to defeat. The enemy are in the city. Fighting breaks out across the city within the streets. It's tight, close quarter fighting. There are still archers and cavalry, but they are little effect here. Most of the soldiers are crammed in, barely space to swing their weapon. Overhead attacks are favoured here and kicks. We do our best to push the enemy back, fighting them step by step. Ultimately, there are a couple of bad decisions on our part, and many of our units find themselves surrounded as we are overwhelmed by the enemy's infantry and fall back. The enemy is getting the better of us, and they have moved to the centre of the city. We move out for the final round. The enemy has occupied the main arena in the city centre, already forming a strong shield wall as they get their units into position. The fighting at this gate has already begun, but I am ordered to take my unit round to the right. Hopefully this way we'll not have as many enemy, but we will have to find out. We wait for the rest of our forces to catch up as they make their way through the streets behind us. With reinforcements here, we head round to the other entrance, but behold, the enemy shield wall is ready and waiting for us. The units are here and we give the order. We push against their shields and very quickly it turns into some of the tightest fighting you could get in Bannerlord. Again, overhead attacks, kicks are the only things that really do anything here as the weight of both teams push against each other in this desperate struggle. The flags waving overhead of the different units. You're looking at over probably about 50-60 units here, pushing into each other, trying to make some sort of breakaway. It is certainly a bit of a stalemate here, as archers fire overhead their arrow volleys. More enemy join the back of their line, adding more weight to the push. I finally find myself at the front, getting a few nice hits off on the chap in front of me. They seem to be pushing further on the right side, but we are pushing on the left. I managed to slay one, but there is hundreds more. The weight of the enemy on the right is certainly a lot heavier than ours, and they're managing to push through at quite some rate now. My lord is to my right as we're trying to hack and kick into the enemy's rear. And they are through, and the fight for the city streets begins as chaos ensues. I go down very quick in this fight, but the fight is not over yet, as it turns into absolute chaos, and the fight for the entrance to the arena is still ongoing. There's still a squeeze going on between two sets of infantry units. A lot of the enemy is broken through. In the centre of the arena, the enemy cavalry is circling around with some of our own, and the other entrance is still fighting, but the enemy seem to have the upper hand there. The main fight is over here where we originally were pushing. The numbers are pretty even, 120 each on each side, as we are still fighting for control of the archway and finishing off the fight here in this street courtyard. Cavalry are trying their hardest to find some sort of kills. The numbers are still even, and inside the arena it is a death trap for anyone on foot. A few of our infantry are breaking through, trying to get what kills they can as we finish up here in the side street, but it is not enough, as on the other side the enemy is still fighting and winning. There's down to the last 120 soldiers on the field. The flag B, the B flag, needs to be taken as the enemy will win from an objective victory, and numbers are starting to drop. Some of our infantry move in to try and capture the flag. Now's our last attempt to win this fight. There's still a lot of enemy archers firing down at our infantry, getting a lot of nice kills as we go down to 20 men left and they have 30. You can see here the enemy archers on a nice balcony, a good view over the arena floor. Ultimately, we are going to lose this fight as the remaining soldiers are on their own, struggling as the battle comes to a conclusion and the city of Surreal falls to the enemy coalition forces. Thank you for watching, guys. Keep an eye out for the next battle.